of bombing in the big cities. And lastly, as you know, 2 atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But our ancestors did their best to recover the Japan, first economically. In the 70s and the 80s, our economic growth was very good. And okay, I accepted their request to teach at new university, which was just opened in New Delhi. That was JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University. It was my pleasure to have contact with the Indian youth, which will make future India. Okay, I said, okay, accept. One day when I was teaching outside on the glass, there was one boy coming close to me. Japanese. I didn't know that there's any Japanese student studying at JNU. He came. I asked in Japanese, いつから来てるんですか? Since when are you studying here? He's not Japanese. Well, where are you from? Infar, he said. So in the evening, I invited to my dinner. We talked about Infar and what we call Infar operation. Here they call it Japan War. So I get to be interested. While I stay in India, I must come to Infar. I tried, but your Ministry of Foreign Affairs said no foreigners are allowed to come to this area. I want to come here someday. I took my students, telling my story about my stay in India. Are you interested? If you are interested, why don't you come with me to India before you graduate? It's okay, it's really interesting. In this way, our regular visit to India, we students and some professors start, and it's going on, still going on. Here are 2 younger professors here. I'm already over 80 years old. Old man. But they, even after I left the universities, they continue to take Japanese students to India every year. Wow. Anyway, the first experience was an encounter with infirm student made me possible to come to this area quite often. I've been already some 7, 8 times. Sometimes not only students, but the Japanese people who are interested in infar operation, that you call Japan War. Well, we want to come here, so I took them together here quite a few times. Now India in the 70s was very poor country. There seemed to be no home for this huge country to develop like Japan. But fortunately, as you know, now India has changed. Your economic growth rate, do you know? For the past 3 years, around 7%. And they're going up. China, the largest country in the world in population. And now their economic growth is coming down. 6% next year. I think if they are successful in attaining 5% economic growth, that's very good for them. Could be smaller. You know why? You know what's happening between U.S. and China? U.S. very interesting person became the top ruler of the states. He started what we call export-import war, economic war against China. It's going on. And I hear there are many Chinese companies who are producing products for export to the United States went bankrupt. And the Chinese economic growth next year or in the coming years will continue to come down. The world is changing, you know. At the end of the last century, there was some economic forecast that around the middle of this century, China will be the richest country in terms of GDP or GNP in 1950. Second, US. Third, India. In the 1960s, there's a long-term, prospect by one of the well-known European study said in 1960, number one is
2060.
Number one is China. Number two, India. By 1960, India will go over US. 2060. This is old age. Yeah, 26. India will be the number two, second largest economy in the world, which you must do. Not someone else do this. Younger people like you, I sincerely hope, to contribute to this long prospect by the economists. And if there's anything we can help, we'll continue to come here with students every year. Thank you. There are many things I want to talk, but the time is running. I'll give my younger professor, Mr. Tozawa, about something I do. Okay, thank you.
On India's position of India and Japan in Indo-Pacific Ocean.
Good afternoon. I came here for the third time And last time when I came here, I spoke something about the world politics. So again today, I just mention related to our research in Imphal. My theme is very vast, big, but my speech is very minimum. So you may not get the idea what I want to stress, but the position of India and Japan in the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. It's a word related to the world strategy from Indian side, from Japanese side. To me, India is good at diplomacy as a country. See, diplomacy is based on power. Power consists of military power, economic power, or the people's power. Three kinds, I analyze. India is using this, all this power more than a reality. So, no country, despised India. Even if they criticize the policy of the current contemporary government, they don't criticize the future of India. So India is such a country of having a bright future. In the meantime, on the contrary, Japan has power, and in the past we made a mistake to use the power, but military power almost nothing, and economic power we have a lot, and men's power, people's power, I believe we have a lot. But in terms of diplomacy, Japan is considered nothing. Some problem happened in the Korean Peninsula. People get together. Nations get together. China, North Korea, South Korea, America, without Japan. And something happens financially, they come to Japan directly to get the money only. So Japan becomes just a wallet to all other countries. No power. Diplomacy of Japan is so poor. So Japan's diplomacy is less than the real power. So Japan's position is going down and down, and at the same time, the population of Japanese people are also decreasing, as you may know. So some cynical people say that at the end of the century, Japanese people will be only 2. Because it is just decreasing and decreasing. So if you calculate the number of people, there will be very few people left. But I think Japanese people are not so stupid. So at some point, we will change our tendency. This is not related to just the policy. If you look at China is now developing very fast, and the government realized that their number of people also decreased. So they changed the policy. Now you can have a baby more than one, but people are saying 1 is enough. So they think still 1 baby is only coming out from the Chinese couples. So this is not just related to the policy. So Japanese government has a policy to getting more babies from the couples, but Japanese people don't get married. Even if they get married late, they don't have a baby, and so our population is decreasing eventually. So the diplomacy is poor, and the people's power is decreasing. So Japan is faced with a kind of danger in a century. But I would say China is trying to monopolize the prestige of Asia, and India is developing very fast. But still, there is a long way to go to be a most advanced country in Asia. So Japan and India, if you think about the piece of Asia, China is coming out not just the continental, but they are trying to get the sea power. India has a great sea power. Japan used to have, but not now. So Japan and India, if they collaborate with each other very well, then it will be, the kind of the balance between the Japan, India, and China. China cannot come out directly. So peace of Asia can be kept, in my opinion. So I want Japan and India go together. That's why I have been here so many times, trying to make friends in India. But as Professor Okamoto mentioned, long time before, we wanted to come to Manipur, but the central government of India said, no, you can't go. Now we can come here freely, so we decided to re-examine the Second World War in Manipur. Actually, the battlefield of Manipur is written in English from the British side, and then written in Japanese from Japan side. It's a so disastrous defeat. But many Japanese don't know anything about Manipur. If I said Impar, people know, but all know is just we were defeated so miserably. So that's all. But people were here in Manipur. So what was going on during the Second World War, especially in 1944. Actually, when I came here, Japanese bombardment took place in 1942. So I didn't know that. I'm sorry for that. But see, we will do research about the feeling of Manipur people during the Second World War too. And I will keep coming and try to get the whole idea of the Manipur people during the Second World War. I am also getting old, not like Professor Okamoto, but still I'm also getting old. So the young fellow is here. He is the associate professor at Ehime University, and he's an expert in Indian study. So we'll keep coming and try to get in touch with you, and you please cooperate with us and make some research. And based on this kind of research, we will pile on the knowledge about the relation between India and Japan, and especially the northeast part area and the Japanese people. Try to get a cooperation of these two countries successfully to keep the Asian peace as long as possible. So, thank you very much.
We will be speaking on Battle of Imphal.
Thank you, and I'm very glad to have this opportunity to talk to you in this Manipur, Imphal. I am basically a sociologist, and my main research topic is environmental movement in Uttarakhand in India. So I have been to Uttarakhand for many times, but this is only the second visit to Manipur. And today I will talk very briefly about the Battle of Imphal and Manipur society. But first of all, I should apologize for you that I am not so good at English as you, because in Japanese, in Japan, all of the classes are being held only in Japanese. So I prepared this note, but maybe there would be a very difficulties to communicate. So maybe he will help me. So, as you may know better than me, the Battle of Impal took place during the Second World War, and the Japanese army proceeded to Impal, and the battle was occurred from March to July in 1944 around this city. The two main intentions of the Japanese side were, first, to shut down the route to assist the Chiang Kai-shek. The Impal was regarded as one of the most important bases in the route to help the Chinese and to help the Chinese armies from the Allied forces. And the second reason why Japanese wanted to come to Impal was Japanese wanted to defend Burma, which it had already occupied. So the Allied forces at that time were coming to Burma, and they wanted to get back the Burma. Japan wanted to stop that Allied forces. That was the two main reasons. The Battle of Impal has been well known in Japan as one of the most miserable battles. Among the 85,000 Japanese soldiers, more than 20,000 were dead or became missing. And the battle was an imprudent battle, as the supplies for the soldiers, foods, and their weapons were only for 20 days, but it took for 4 months. So soldiers had to survive for 4 months by only 20 days foods and weapons. That was such a disastrous battle. Moreover, all the tops of the 3 divisions which proceeded to Impal were resigned against the will of the commander Mutaguchi, who wanted to continue the battle. So this is a brief picture of the Battle of Impal as understood in Japan. Secondly, I want to talk about my understanding of the people's movement for democracy in Manipur at that time. As far as I know, in 1939, the very powerful movement was occurred in Imphal, which has been called as Nupilang, Women's War. It started as a very economic struggle, but it became more political, and I think it can be called a first democratic people's movement in Manipur. And in 1948, after the war, the first general election was held in Manipur, but most of the winners were arrested, and the result of the election were ignored. Then the Manipur was incorporated into India in 1949. But Manipur Kingdom has not been in India in its history until 1891. Yeah. So my question is, why Manipur had to be incorporated into India? And so I think that the Battle of Imphal had some effect, some impact on the incorporation of Manipur into India, and maybe my hypothesis is that the Battle of Imphal would accelerated the Indianization of Manipur society. And at least the Indian nationalists got more power because of the Battle of Imphal, because in the Battle of Imphal, along with the Japanese armies, Indian National Army came. And the Indian National Army was, of course, you know, that led by Subhash Chandra Bose and Indian nationalists. And they came to Manipur, and during that time, in Manipur, the Indian nationalists got more powers. And as I understood, before that war, there were a very strong Manipuri nationalists, such as Hijam Irabot Singh. But those Manipuri nationalists became assided during the Battle of Imphal and the war. And after that, the Manipur was incorporated into India. This is my tentative understanding, but maybe it's wrong. So we want to continue this research project, and I want to have your cooperative joint project. We want to have joint project to, and my intention is to know about the impact of the Battle of Imphal to the Manipur society, Manipuri people. So I would like to visit again and again this Imphal. So maybe this would be my second research topic. So please see you again. Thank you very much.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm very pleased to could come to this Manipur. This is the first time for me to see this state. Yeah, I actually worked for Indian consulate for about 10 years, many years ago. But this is the first time to visit Manipur, and I'm very glad. Actually, Manipur or Manipur state, and in quite well known because of the last war, and many Japanese have sad. I think I don't know which is more sad or not, but many Japanese people also had a very sad memory about Imphal instance or Imphal war. And I'm very glad to be able to come to this country, this state. And if you have time to come to Japan some other time, please let me know. Maybe I could do something to you. Okay? My name is Nobuko Namba. That's all for me.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kazuko Yagi. I was a teacher of Japanese language, not English, Japanese language, for 50 years. And now I goes to junior high once or twice a month and teach to the student Japanese language or making stories. And so ask anything about Japanese language, okay? Not English language. Do you know some Japanese word? Oh, okay. What? Sayonara. Sayonara is goodbye. And watashi wa Yagi Kazuko desu. Watashi wa Bamiu desu. Very nice. I am なんとかなんとか. Yeah. Anything else? ありがとうございます。Okay, okay. If you want to know Japanese or Japanese language, please send me to me in Japan. I'll return to you and teach Japanese. Okay? Thank you so much.
They have a very soft corner for Manipur, for Imphal, etc., because they had a bitter experience in Imphal during the Second World War. This was the greatest land defeat in their history. That is the reason why they have a very soft corner. And perhaps you must be interested to know that they would like to construct a very first-class national highway from Imphal to Kohima because of historical reasons. Right. That is what their political director of political wing of the Japanese embassy told me. And because of certain problems, they have not been able to materialize it. It is going to take place. Another thing is about the connectivity. And you'll be, if you are interested, we had a program in the TV, Impact TV, and yesterday also our Professor Amar had a TV program. I could not see it because we were having a chit chat at my place, having dinner. And yesterday itself, we met our administrator, and the team presented a few books, very useful books. Japanese books are very, very costly, costlier than the Western books. And under the initiative of Professor Okamoto Sensei, the Toshiba International Foundation has contributed a large number of textbooks, Japanese language textbooks for the beginners. Then, you know, kanji, definitely kanji is Chinese ideography, right? Those dictionaries, which are very costly, maybe about 15,000, 16,000, things like that. Encyclopedias, then many other types of books, right? And yesterday we discussed about the signing of an MOU with the Ehime University, where Professor Okamoto Sensei also, he was a professor. Tozawa Sensei also, he was a professor. He is retired now, but still keeping him as consultant. Professor Ishizaka is still working as an associate professor. So they are having a team, a solid team, and they will coordinate with us, including me and Professor Amar, Dr. Rajan, etc., etc. And if the MOU is signed, it is likely to be, we are likely to go to Japan in the first or second week of March to make it more materialized, to concretize the things. So it is not for us. Our age is over, and this is for you. And who knows, you will have a future also. And we are going to have a school of international studies here. That only about 3-4 days back, and our academic council has passed a resolution. So Japanese studies, Chinese studies, maybe East and Southeast Asian studies is likely to come up in the form of a school all combined. So, as you know, during your time, you may travel by road up to Saigon. You may travel up to South Korea, then proceed towards Japan, because there will be a lot of connectivity. And a lot of money will be financed by the Japanese various agencies, maybe JICA, maybe some other, because agreements have been signed, right? So many new things are coming up, which I may not see, but you will see, right? So these are the things which are likely to come up. It is said that in one of the articles, it is morning in Asia. The sun has just risen. Right. So Asian countries are going to dominate the whole world in the near future, maybe in about 30 years, 40 years, like that. So you will see that kind of new development coming up. So our dream is that you should not leave behind others, and we should keep all of you aware of what was happening and what is going to happen. So this is our main objective. That's why we have brought them here, and they are with us this afternoon. Thank you.